So here's something interesting. I want us to be honest. Running a small business in South Africa is tough enough without the government taking what it feels more and more like it's their fair share. When you look at the numbers, it becomes crystal clear that South African small businesses are drowning in taxes, fees, and levies. And a lot of that would make even the most seasoned entrepreneur or small business owner think twice about starting a venture in South Africa. Let me actually paint you a sobering picture. Let's say you've built a successful import and distribution business right here in South Africa, and you've got 11.5 million rand in revenue. Here's exactly how the government systematically will strip away your earnings. First, they take 1.5 million rand in VAT, that's value added tax. That's 15% of your invoiced revenue. Then 880,000 rand in import duties, 22% of your 4 million rand cost of sales, followed by 282,000 rand in employee related taxes, think PAYE, UIF, SDL. Then there's 640,000 rand in fuel levies and road accident fund contributions, and 875,000 rand in operating expenses that include various government fees and levies. Now, after all of these deductions, your business shows a net profit of 1 million rand, but the government isn't finished yet. They take another 280,000 rand in corporate tax, 28%. And if you decide to pay dividends from your remaining 720,000 rand, they're going to grab another 144,000 rand in dividend tax, which is about 20%. Now, when you add up all of these government extractions, VAT at 1.5 million rand, import duties 880,000 rand, employee taxes 289,000 rand, fuel levy 640,000 rand, operating expenses 875,000 rand, corporate tax 280,000 rand, and dividend tax at 144,000 rand. The total that government ends up taking from your small business is a staggering 4.6 million rand of that 11.5 million rand that you started with, that you generated. Meanwhile, you, the entrepreneur who took all the risks, created the jobs, and built the enterprise, are left with 576,000 rand. That means that for every 100 rand that your business generates, the government takes a crushing 40 rand. That's what they get to keep, while you keep just 5 rand in profit. But here's the ultimate aibo. The business owner carries all of the risk. When the market downturns, when the cash flow problems hit, when the equipment fails, well, even when you as a business owner die, the government still imposes a further estate tax and estate duty of around 20% on what little wealth you've managed to accumulate. Meanwhile, the South African government bears absolutely no risk, but they will happily impose fines, penalties, and charge punitive interest rates on any late payments or minor transgressions that you might be involved in. This isn't taxation anymore, at least to me. It feels like systematic wealth confiscation of the highest degree, because to me, it actually punishes the success that an entrepreneur gets while rewarding bureaucratic parasitism. It's honestly gotten that bad, guys. There doesn't seem to be a balance in all of this. And I don't know if I'm actually overreacting here. I want you to let me know in the comments. What are your thoughts around this example that I've just given? Is it too outlandish? Do you have some experience with a business, or do you know someone who's in business? And do you hear their cries? What are some of the cries that they have? Hit us below and let's chat about this. There's more to this. The South African government doesn't just want a piece of your profits. They want a cut of every time you try to create a job. The PAYE, the UIF, and the SDL, that's a skills development levy. All those contributions add up to 289,000 rand from our business example before. Think about that for a moment. You're trying to do the right thing by employing more South Africans, contributing to job creation, and helping to reduce unemployment. The government's response? Well, thanks. That's gonna be 300,000 rand for that privilege. Again, I'm not saying businesses shouldn't pay these things. I'm saying that the realities for small businesses no longer fit the current policy environment. All of this starts to create a very perverse incentive where businesses are discouraged from hiring more employees. Why would you expand your workforce when every single new employee comes with a hefty government surcharge? Also, you've got to take into account that the AI revolution and those issues have affected how businesses operate. So businesses are employing off productivity more than anything else. And if they're disincentivized to get more people working, we're going to have an even bigger problem. The creativity, the pure creativity of the tax authorities in South Africa. They've found new ways to extract more money from businesses, and it's almost like admirable. They're really good at it. If it wasn't so destructive, I would clap. Take for instance the fuel levy and the road accident fund contribution. In our business case, that totaled around 640,000 rand. Now, these aren't just taxes on fuel consumption. They're taxes on doing business. Every delivery truck, every sale, every visit, every business trip becomes a revenue opportunity for the government. The message is pretty clear. If you want to operate a business that requires any form of transportation, you'll pay dearly for it. The other thing that really annoys me is that RAF covers all people that are on our roads. But when we go to other countries, we have to pay public liability insurance to get the pleasure of being on their roads. Honestly, who writes these laws? Generally speaking, I want to know honestly, who still supports the Road Accident Fund in its current form? Maybe I'm in the wrong here. Maybe I'm going left. I want you guys to tell me in the comments below, because I'm honestly a little bit, I don't know if you've noticed, a little bit frustrated. Now, what these figures don't actually show is the hidden cost of compliance. Because that's another thing. Small business owners spend countless hours filling out forms, calculating taxes, and ensuring that they meet all of the various deadlines imposed by different government departments. This time could be spent growing their businesses, creating jobs, or innovating. Instead, it's wasted in bureaucratic box-ticking exercises, which could honestly be done digitally or using AI. The complexity of the tax codes and its system also forces businesses to hire not cheap and mostly expensive tax consultants as well as accountants. And when you add all of this up, this is just another layer of cost that ultimately makes South African businesses less competitive. Shem. Other countries have also shown that much lower tax rates can actually increase total tax revenue by encouraging more business activity. To me at least. South Africa seems determined to prove the opposite, that you can tax your way to prosperity by squeezing existing small businesses even harder. It doesn't work that way. And if it does, please give me examples down below. The other elephant in the room is that our economy is struggling. We all know that. Because we don't produce anything of value from our raw materials. Thus, we can't really charge more for them when we actually trade them. This should be one of the easiest options to get more money into the economy. Let's make for export, for trade. Then on top of that, let's give the small businesses the opportunity to do that without taxing them heavily. But also, let's be clear here. We understand that taxation in some shape or form serves as a catalyst for creating the conditions within a country that allow for businesses to flourish. This is very clear because there's a common understanding that when you pay taxes, you're paying for the government to create the infrastructure, maintain the law and order, and make it easier for you to do business. Roads need building, courts need functioning, and the contracts need enforcing. These are legitimate government services that businesses do benefit from and should contribute towards. This is clear. We're not saying don't pay for the stuff. That's not the real issue here. The issue that is emerging, or perhaps has always been lurking beneath the surface, is that government is now overtaxing those who are creating value while not incentivizing smaller businesses enough to give them the chance and opportunity to grow and employ more people, thus increasing our tax base overall. There's a critical difference between fair contribution and aggressive extraction and taxation. Yes, we do understand that there are people that don't all pay their fair share when it comes to the business community, and that's a reality that must be called out. But then the question is, what is fair for the middle-class business owner who's not rich and just getting by? What is a fair tax rate for them? How do you incentivize them to do more, grow their businesses, and thus make the country flourish? The solution isn't rocket science, guys. South Africa needs to recognize that small businesses are the backbone of any healthy economy that wants to absorb people, offer them jobs, and grow. They create jobs, they drive innovation, and they generate tax revenues for the government. Revenue that funds the government services. We've got to work together here. By overtaxing these small businesses, the government is killing the goose that lays the golden eggs. In fact, I'm not even sure if we have any eggs in the basket anymore. What we truly need, is comprehensive tax reform that reduces rates, simplifies compliance, and creates an environment where businesses want to start, grow, and succeed right here in South Africa. Also, we've got to teach kids how to file tax returns in school during life orientation, because that's real life. That's the least that we should be doing. And until that happens, we'll continue to see talented entrepreneurs taking their ideas and capital to more business-friendly countries. They're going to leave South Africa. They're going to leave us a whole lot poorer. The numbers don't lie. South African small businesses are overtaxed, they're overregulated, and they're underappreciated. It's time for change before it's too late. Before no one is even incentivized to start anything in Mzansi. Thank you for watching this video up until this point. I hope it was just as interesting for you to watch as it was for us to make for you. Check out one of these other videos and hopefully they'll be just as interesting as this one. Cheers.